Welcome to Ciao Bella, hosted by yours truly, Erica Firpo, travel journalist based in Rome. Each week on Ciao Bella, I explore today's Italy, speaking with artisans, designers, hoteliers, architects, artists, Parmesan makers, in other words, the creators who are making the Italy that you love. So sit back and join in.
Ci porterà fortuna, poi non ti ho vista più.
Welcome back. It's Erica, and today I'm in Reggio Emilia, a beautiful town about 4 hours northeast of Rome, in a fabulous region called Emilia Romagna. And you might hear a little bit of an echo because I'm sitting in an incredible gallery space with Sara Piccinini, who is the senior coordinator of the Collezione Maramotti. Hi, Sara.
Hi.
So I wanted to ask you, because I figured this is what everybody's going to be asking me, why am I sitting in a gallery space? I'm here at this incredible art collection that I have yet to see, but this art collection has a lot of history. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the history of the collection?
Yes, of course. First thing, you're sitting now in an exhibition space, but this building was the Max Mara factory. So it is a real strong building with a strong history, and it's here since 1957. So it's a kind of old building, but very innovative and modern for the time. And now it hosts the private collection of the Maramotti family, which is a huge collection of contemporary art. Much Italian art, a lot of Italian art, but also international art and American art. And Achille Maramotti, the founder of Max Mara, started to collect contemporary art early in the 60s.
Okay, let me just interrupt you a second. So I just want everyone to be able to hear this. His name was Achille Maramotti, and if you don't know Max Mara is a fashion house that has, I think, quintessentially, it has the quintessential Italian style, in my opinion. Very, and to me, a little bit more like Northern Italian style. Very sophisticated, chic clothing, lines, particularly for women. I always think of Max Mara as these beautiful camel jackets. All beautiful jackets in the world are from Max Mara. But he started collecting art after the war, is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. He was fond of painting in general, so not only contemporary painting. He approached contemporary art early in the 60s, but he already had an eye for ancient painting and painting from the first part of the 20th century. But early in the 60s, he started to have an interest and to approach his very contemporary artists. So he started to buy arte informale, so Burri, Bacon, Fautrier.
Francis Bacon is one of my favorite painters.
Yes, so there is a beautiful one in the gallery, and a very particular and very first examples of this kind of research by Francis Bacon is from '52. So it's quite one of the very first works.
Oh, this is going to
with
be
a single
exciting.
figure in a dark background. Yes. And he has been following the path and the evolution of the painting language during decades since his death. He wanted to show his collection to public since the 70s, but he couldn't find a right place. And so finally, when Max Mara moved to another headquarters, this became, of course, the ideal place to show the collection.
So he was building up this collection, but at the same time, he had the factory for Max Mara here.
Yes.
And then they decided, okay, we'll move the factory to another part of the town.
Yes.
And he said, this is great, because now I can put from what I understand, there are over 1,000 pieces of art, is that
now,
correct?
yes. When we opened to public in 2007, it was some hundred works, and now it's 1,000, so the collection is definitely growing, and that's great. But he collected a lot of paintings and a lot of beautiful works, which are now, a selection of them is on permanent show here at the Collezione.
Just to give our listeners an idea, I did a little research, and I know aside from the fact that I get to see it, I get to see a Bacon. I know I get to see a Twombly. Is that
Yes.
Basquiat?
Yeah.
Can you name some of the other artists? You mentioned Buri, Clemente.
Yes, many trans-avanguardia painters, of course, because it was close friends to Enzo Cucchi, and it will be tonight here for party with us. This event, this rehang, and yes, Sandro Chia, and also David Sully, Alex Katz, so Julia Schnabel, Harry Moore, Claudio Parmigiani. Is really a kind of now it's kind of historical paintings in a way for contemporary, but they weren't when he was purchasing these works and he was discovering these artists.
And from what I know, the collection actually still maintains that philosophy in the sense that the collection is constantly generating. There's still acquisitions that happen, and also from what I know, and I'd love to hear more about this from you because you have been with the collection since its first day opening to the public, or actually before the first day.
During the restoration of the building, I can remember rooms, empty rooms, and all the works going on here, and all works in crates in a building near here, and organizing everything. So it was great to see that happen in 2007.
So tell me a little bit about. So you were saying that about 200 works are on display, and do you have other shows? Are there temporary exhibitions? Can you tell me a little bit more about what happens here?
Mostly we present site-specific temporary projects, so we invite artists to produce new works for the collection.
So awesome.
They come here, they come here, see the spaces. We have 3 rooms which may be used for temporary shows, so they choose the room and fill the space, and even painters, so not only artists working with installations or with sculpture or more complex things, but also painters.
And
it's a feeling of the spaces that's important.
And they're not just established artists, they're emerging artists as well.
Mostly are young and emerging artists or mid-career artists, because it's the same philosophy of the father of the current generation of collectors. So really to have an eye and discover things that are happening now. So the show is presented here. It's the first time that the artist presents something in Italy, mostly. For some of the artists, it's the first solo exhibition in an Italian institution, so it's something very new also for Italian public.
That's also a big deal. So why is this very new for an Italian public?
Because they never had a solo exhibition.
I see what you're saying.
And it's something new, so just produced specifically for these spaces. And this is one of the main way we present new projects. But also we have presented some exhibitions with artworks from our archive, of course. So organized around a theme, around body, around industrial material in the process of artistic creation, because we have many works that are not on show. So
you can pick, and
it's a pity.
But it's a pity. But at the same point, that means it seems like the possibilities for so many different kinds of shows are like infinite.
Yeah.
Now, how many different shows are you having a year?
It depends. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, and we also have other kind of events here, because, for example, we host once every 2 years site-specific dance here in the galleries. We have a collaboration with the theaters in Reggio Emilia. We had the Trisha Brown Dance Company, the Shenway Dance Arts.
Is this would it be, just out of curiosity, is it in even years, anni pari or dispari?
It's this year, so anni dispari.
Okay.
Yes, it will be this year. I can say the name yet, but it will be great this year too. I'm sure. And it's unique. It's a unique event.
They have the event in the gallery space.
Yeah.
So just to give everybody a visual idea, we're in not an old warehouse, because it's not something. It looks like a very modern, from the 1960s or 50s building. It's about, is it 2 levels?
Yeah, 2 levels. Actually, in a part 3 levels, but now the 3rd floor is occupied in permanence by the Atelier dell'Errore, which is a great workshop of visual arts for people coming from the neuropsychiatric care. And so they're here, they work here, they produce drawings here, and they're great. I mean, they don't use rubbers because mistakes are a great value to them. And
they don't use erasers.
Yeah, and as a resource, exactly. And they only focus their drawings on animals. Animals very special, animals that are guardians of their fears, of their tensions, of their being emarginated somehow, but they produce really amazing works. They're great artists.
Is that something the public can see as well?
Sometimes it opens for special occasions. So, for example, during the Fotografia Europea Festival, which is a photography festival here in Reggio, opening in April, they will open the studio and the exhibition space for a day to the public.
Instead, the Collezione Maramotti is open to the public.
Yes.
But it's by appointment only, is that correct?
Yeah, we're open from Thursdays to Sunday and by appointment. The permanent collection is by appointment, but the temporary exhibitions you can just come
you can just
and
walk
access.
in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. That's great to know.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about why I'm here today. Because tonight I'm here for a very special event called the Rehang.
Yeah, that's special because the permanent collection hasn't changed since the opening in 2007, and tonight we're going to present a change of 10 rooms, which is a quarter of the collection, so kind of huge part. After all these years of work, we decided to make an update to present a part of our work in progress. So we selected 10 projects which we have been presenting during the years and organized these 10 rooms as 10 solo exhibitions. And we go from 2008 to 2017, so we cover more or less all these opening years. And I think it's great. You can see the continuity of the collection because you find a lot of paintings, but also the new languages the collectors are somehow exploring. So we also find projects that are more installation things or different elaborations of materials, like in Evgeny Antufyev's case.
Now, do you have, is there a specific curator or do you bring in different curators? How does that work as far as...
We don't have curators, and that's very specific of us because all the things that a curator usually do are like shared between the artists who are really at the center of our process and of our working model because they of course produce the project and realize new works, but they are also involved in communication, installation, producing the book, whatever, if they want a catalog or an artist book or a box, anything. We're here to support them in their creation. The family, the Maramotti family, is really in dialogue also with the artist, and of course they choose what artists to be invited. And all the Colleziones team is really following the artist step by step to support all the development of the project. So it's like a triangulation of subjects which make the project happen.
Well, it sounds like the expression that comes to mind is like a full immersion family affair. But everybody becomes part of the family, the artist, the Maramotti family, the collection group. You said you are, I think, did you say 5 people full-time and 3 people part-time?
Yes.
Now, you said a word, and I want to ask you about this. You said the continuity of the collection. And I know that there is a very special award that you guys are part of that is the Max Mara Premio for women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, the Max Mara Prize for Women was born before the collection opened, between Max Mara and the Whitechapel Gallery. So it's a prize from 2005. The first edition was 2005. And after the collection opening, we entered as the 3rd partner of the prize. It's a prize dedicated to women artists based in the UK, so not necessarily English artists, but who are working there in the UK. And also a condition is that the artists had not a big survey of their work, of their art yet, so kind of emerging mid-career artists. And the commission is always, the Whitechapel Gallery is in charge for the selection of artists. The jury changes for every edition. Ivona Blazwich, Whitechapel director, names the jury, the members of the jury, women collector, women artists.
For women by women.
For women by women, exactly. They make a short list of artists, and then a winner is nominated. Actually, the prize is very interesting because it has a 2 years development, this prize, from the short list to the presentation of the project. And the artist spent 6 months in Italy making a residency.
Anywhere in Italy or specifically here?
Specifically, it depends from the project that the artist wants to develop. So it's really something that is bespoken on the artist's needs. Because, for example, in the 6th edition, Emma Hart wanted to work with ceramics.
Oh, really? With ceramics?
Ceramics. And she produced a big installation with big sculptures hang from the
Because
ceiling.
ceramics is a famous tile company, is that correct?
Ceramics is the ceramic, the material.
Yeah.
She wanted to
With
explore,
ceramic, okay, yeah.
to explore this medium, this very traditional medium, but in a contemporary form, of course. So she spent 3 months of the 6th in Faenza, which is a beautiful town here in Emilia Romagna region. So it's a big resource. There is the International Museum of Ceramics. There is the Museo Carlo Zauli, which hosted her in residency, and she spent three months there because she was interested in this. The last winner, Ellen Kamok, had 6 different cities to explore. So it's really, the Collezione Maramotti follows in particular the part of the residency because we're an Italian institution, we know all the other Italian institutions and possible tutors to help artists realize their project.
What I read about the prize that I also thought was just really special was that at the end when it's presented, is it true that the artist also presents mentors or women that inspire her as well?
Yes, this didn't happen this year, the My Hero event.
Oh, My Hero.
Yeah, it was called My Hero and took place at the Whitechapel Gallery, and the Lord Provost and Corinne Sworn, Emma Hart invited someone who was inspiring and very important in their artistic research, but poets, not necessarily artists.
Just anyone who inspires them.
Yes, and make a conversation or a performance, it depends. And that was very interesting. This year, this didn't happen, actually, but
it could happen again. When will be the next residency?
Actually next year, because now Helen Kamok the last winner, is going to present her solo show at the Whitechapel Gallery in June, and then at the Collezione Maramotti in October. This will be, of course, basically the same exhibition, but with different elements in London and in Reggio Emilia, so a bit different. And then the shortlist will be announced. Normally it's announced the day after the opening of the exhibition here at the Collezione. So it's like a continuous cycle of the prize.
I think the concept of continuity is basically a very big idea, a very strong concept for Maramotti.
Yes.
This constantly generating, bringing in more artwork, fostering artists, fostering the same idea that Achille Maramotti had from the very beginning. One of the interesting things that I've noticed in Italy, and I mentioned this to you before, I think a lot of people outside of Italy, they love Italy, they love coming to visit, but one of the things they don't realize is that it is an incredibly contemporary country with great contemporary art, as we've talked about, design, cars, and everything I'm talking about seems to be in Reggio Emilia too. Incredible food in Reggio Emilia. How do you feel about I'd love to talk to you a little bit about contemporary Italy and your vision or your view of what it is.
Of course, it's true that it's difficult. It's not easy because we're very strong we're a very strong past, a very rich culture in the past. But I think that there are many spots of interest, real interest in contemporary. In Milan, there are a lot of beautiful institutions. In this region, in Emilia Romagna region, we have the Museum of Contemporary Art in Bologna, which is great, the Mambo, and of course, the institutions I was quoting before in Faenza are great. There still works constantly with artists that want to explore this old medium, let's say ceramics, but in a contemporary time, in a contemporary way. So finding always new solutions. And also in Modena there is the Foundation for Visual Arts. In Parma there is the XAC, which is an incredible archive of design, art, architecture, music, and everything else. Bologna, of course, has many institutions, also FAIR and the MUST Foundation dedicated to photography. So it's real something that's lively. It's not something, but of course you have to discover it. I think you have to have a desire for discovering and maybe go beyond the most well-known things and institutions.
Well, I'm going to ask you after, once we conclude this, I'm going to make you give me a list of these places that we mentioned, and I'll share the links with everybody who's listening.
Of course.
Now, you are born and bred a homegrown girl from Reggio Emilia. So I wanted to ask, as we end the conversation, tell me, if you want, 3 of your favorite things to either do, see, eat in Reggio Emilia. Like, what can't I miss when I have my full day by myself?
Of course, all the historical center of Reggio Emilia is quite intimate, and you can just walk around. And of course, don't miss the cathedral, which is a real beautiful one. And there is an interesting other additional thing for contemporary art to see in Reggio Emilia, which is a series of works of public art. They were done in the early 2000s, and the municipality commissioned works to Solluit, of course, to Luciano Fabbro,
Salve Luciano Fabbro,
Eliseo Mattiacci. Yeah.
So it's all public work. I can just walk around and find them.
Yes, because it's university, public library, and actually one in the courtyard of a cloister, so they're not always open.
Okay.
And another one is the Fondazione Nazionale della Danza, which is the Italian Foundation for Dance, which is here in Reggio Emilia in an old factory too. Very interesting place for dance. And so there is these 4 big sculptures in town which really can't be missed.
Well, I'm going to look forward to exploring.
And also inside the cathedral, which already is beautiful, and it includes a beautiful painting by Guercino, and it's a beautiful place, but also there are works of contemporary art inside. There is an altar by Claudio Parmigiani.
In the cathedral?
In the cathedral, and a work by Nagasawa, and a work by Spalletti. So the city is quite contemporary.
That's amazing, because I think, it's amazing to see a city that is so rich in history, also staying within the 21st century, or within its contemporary present. Now I have to just ask you one thing, because I've had a lot of friends over the years from Emilia Romagna, and I've noticed, and I know you eat incredibly well here, so I'm going to ask you this one question, because I know my friends from, I think it's Modena, or I think she grew up in Maranello, and she's always like, you have to have the gnocco fritto.
Yes.
Is there something specific to Reggio Emilia?
Yes, of course there is. Just one thing, that it's only Reggio Emilia, and it's erbazzone, which is a very special salted cake with spinach and Parmigiano Reggiano, of course.
Erbazzone?
Erbazzone.
Okay.
And that's only Reggio Emilia, but of course we have also tortelli and cappelletti and gnocco fritto and all the rest. But this is, you can just find here.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. I can't wait to see the gallery and the rehang, and I can't wait to walk around the city. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you so much.
Perché tu sei con me.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. You can find all my episodes on iTunes, and if you have time, subscribe, rate, and let me know your thoughts on the podcast. You can also be part of the podcast by donating. Find Ciao Bella on patreon.com, where with as little as $1, you get behind-the-scenes photos and videos as I travel all throughout Italy. To learn more about me and my work, go to my website, ericafirpo.com, and follow my Italy adventures on Instagram at ericafirpo. Ciao Bella! And a very big thank you and hug to Massimiliano Yonta and Dis to Dis Studios, the producers of Ciao Bella, who continue to make me sound and feel great.